The question is, do we have recovered UFOs in our custody? The answer is yes. Am I convinced that Lou Elizondo, as the head of the ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Project, came to know that to be true? Yes. And he has stated that now. He has stated it publicly. It doesn't have to really depend upon whether he told me or whether I told somebody else that he did. He has testified now openly to the House Oversight Committee that he knows that it's true that we have these UFOs, and he knows that to his own knowledge. In fact, I do not and have not represented Lou Elizondo in any of his commercial endeavors. I didn't represent him in connection with his book contract. I haven't represented him in connection with the video the big documentary that they've just done called The Age of Disclosure. I don't know what type of remuneration, if any, Lou has gotten from any of those activities. Yeah, I'm quite concerned about this. To the extent to which I believe that the Skywatcher people are engaged in artificially luring in some of the UFOs. That they've developed some kind of a technology that masks as a telepathic solicitation to come. Like a regular person or a group of people can reach out telepathically and solicit the UFO to come so they can have a direct contact experience with them. And that the Skywatcher people are mimicking that they've developed something they call the dog whistle that imitates telepathic solicitation, a good faith solicitation. And then I think they're engaged in the process of, and as I understand it, they're engaged in the process of trying to forcibly force down the UFO and take it into custody so that they can again get their hands on the technology. And very importantly, they're funded by private investors, and private investors are always trying to figure out how to take possession of something and get patents on it. Now, there are a number of things that Stephen has said that my own personal judgment is that we don't have adequate evidence to really support saying certain things like that publicly. It's not adequately substantiated. So that's all I can say. And he has not talked with me about having interviewed someone who has actually flown one of the alien reconstruction vehicles. No, no. This apparently is one of the arguments that they're making for keeping things secret, because they're afraid that if they reveal the fact that they have given some of this technology to some companies and not to other companies, that they're going to get sued over this. That it's an antitrust violation. That they're not taking bids on these technologies, developing the tech, back engineering the technologies, and so that they're arguing that please don't expose this because we're going to get sued. Those are two different questions there. I think the psychedelic consciousness is the easiest way to understand the science of the energy. Uh, is there a veil to be pierced in which within 5 meters around ever? These are interesting questions. The fact of the matter is a very major element of this particular subject, the UFOs and the extraterrestrial beings, relates very directly to consciousness, in the level of consciousness of our human family, the comparative level of consciousness that these ET beings may have if they've had, several billion more years of evolution than we, to the extent to which we're assuming that we as a human species have evolved teleologically in a positive, progressive way from earlier levels of consciousness.
I think questions some people ask, what do you think about Bob Lazar?
Well, I haven't talked to Bob yet.
You will sit with Bob Lazar.
I'm in the process of trying to get a meeting to sit down. There's a mutual friend that we have that is in the process of arranging a sit down so we can get to talk to each other. But the things that the Bob Lazar has said in the past are all perfectly consistent with the more recently revealed information about the reality of Area 51, the existence of S4, the fact that there are craft, a real UFO alien craft at Area 51, actually at S4. In a lot of the details that Bob Lazar gave when he was interviewed earlier by George Knapp years ago and by Jeremy Cabell, the things that he was saying have really been borne out substantially already and continue to be borne out by the more people who come forward who have direct access to that information.